Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into the world of dietary supplements. It's kind of staggering, a market that went from maybe $4 billion back in '94 to, well, over $40 billion now.
Yeah, it's massive.
So we've got FDA documents, academic research on how people actually use this stuff, and the regulatory history to work with. The goal, give you the shortcut to understanding what's really going on with regulation and, consumption habits.
And it all really hinges on this core tension, doesn't it? It goes back to that 1994 law, DSHEA. See, supplements are legally classed as food.
Right, food, not drugs.
Exactly, which gives them a lot of leeway. But then they're often sold with claims that sound an awful lot like what drugs do. And the kicker is, DSHEA let companies market them without proving safety or effectiveness first.
So the burden of proof just flips.
Completely. It lands squarely on the FDA, but only after the products are already out there being sold.
Okay, that's crucial context. So let's unpack the FDA's part first. When they send inspectors out under their compliance program, what are they actually looking for on the manufacturing side?
Their main job is making sure the product isn't adulterated, contaminated or unsafe, and that it's not misbranded, meaning the label is accurate.
And they enforce that through CGMP, current good manufacturing practice?
That's the one. CGMP, it sounds technical, but it's basically about ensuring clean facilities, documented processes, quality control, crucially making sure what's on the label is actually in the bottle.
Makes sense. Are there specific things like regulatory tripwires that often signal problems during these inspections?
Definitely. Two big reporting requirements often come up. First, companies have to report serious adverse events. If someone gets hurt using their product, they need to tell the FDA.
Okay, that seems vital.
It is. Second is notification for new dietary ingredients, or NDIs. If they're using something novel, they have to file a notification.
But that notification, it's not like they have to submit safety data, right?
Not really rigorous safety testing, no. It's more like telling the FDA, hey, we exist and we're using this new ingredient. Again, it highlights how much the FDA has to chase down potential risks after the fact.
And are they looking for specific risky ingredients too?
Oh, absolutely. Known hazards. Things like ephedrine alkaloids are a huge red flag.
Yeah.
And also bovine-derived ingredients because of concerns about BSE or mad cow disease.
Okay, so that's the framework, but how are people actually using these things day to day? This is where that study on multi-ingredient pre-workout supplements, MIPS, gets really interesting. What did it find about typical use?
Well, the picture it paints is, concerning. The typical user is male, does resistance training regularly, and uses these MIPS products like 4 or 5 times a week.
Wow, that often.
Yeah, and get this, 72%, almost 3/4, reported using them for over a year.
Over a year, despite pretty much no long-term safety data on these complex formulas.
Exactly. There's a real scarcity of long-term data. And that unknown risk is amplified by how people misuse them.
Misuse? How so?
While most stick to the serving size, the study found 14%, that's roughly 1 in 7 users, admit to taking 2 or more servings at once.
Double scooping, basically.
Right. And 18%, nearly 1 in 5, take them more than once per day.
Okay, that sounds risky on its own.
It is. Especially when you find out nearly a third of users also combine their pre-workout with other caffeine sources. Coffee, energy drinks.
Whoa. And I read somewhere the caffeine content in these MIPs can be all over the place, like between batches.
That's another huge issue. Variability can be massive. You mentioned up to 266% difference. That means one scoop might be moderate, the next could be extremely high.
So if you double scoop that high caffeine batch or have it plus coffee, you could be hitting dangerous levels without even realizing it. That's not just bad quality control, that feels like playing Russian roulette with your stimulant intake.
It really does create enormous potential risk. And it's not just caffeine. Taking multiple servings can easily push you over the tolerable upper limit for niacin, which is 35 milligrams a day.
So it's no wonder then that the study found side effects were common.
It's not surprising at all. Over half, more than 50% of the users surveyed reported experiencing deleterious side effects. Things like jitters, skin reactions, heart palpitations.
Okay, so FDA handles the manufacturing, the ingredients, but what about the claims? The ads promising the world? Who polices that?
That's where the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, steps in. They handle the advertising side.
And they've updated their rules recently, haven't they?
They have. They put out new guidance, making it clear that if you're advertising any health-related product, supplements included, you need competent and reliable scientific evidence.
What does that actually mean, though? Competent and reliable evidence.
In practice, it means the FTC now generally expects proper human clinical trials, high-quality, randomized, controlled trials, the gold standard.
So companies can't just point to a study on rats or some customer testimonials anymore?
Not if they want to make serious health claims like, say, burns fat or build muscle fast. They need real human science.
And the FTC is also cracking down on some shady online tactics, right?
Absolutely. They've gone after things like review hijacking. There was a case involving the Bountiful Company.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Right. They were basically taking new, unproven supplements and merging their online listings with older, established products that already had lots of good reviews and ratings.
Just to piggyback off the old product's reputation and maybe snag a bestseller badge falsely.
Exactly that. Purely deceptive digital marketing. The FTC is trying to tackle that kind of stuff, too.
Okay, so we've traced the landscape a bit. From DSHEA in '94, which kind of opened the floodgates, to today, where you have the FDA looking at manufacturing and safety signals, and the FTC trying to police the wild claims.
Yeah, and if we pull back for the bigger picture here,
Mm-hmm.
you've got this massive industry, widespread use. And we know from the research that over half of regular users are reporting side effects.
And a significant chunk are deliberately taking more than recommended.
Right. Which brings us to, I think, a really important final thought for you to consider. Given that manufacturers, under the current system, mainly just need to make sure serious adverse events get reported, they don't have to proactively prove long-term safety or test what happens at those higher doses people are taking. Well, how much of the actual burden of figuring out safety, how much of the sort of real-world experimentation is actually falling directly onto you, the consumer?